Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Do Bonsai. I'm Scott Winard. We have the three jades here that have been out of their pots for a few days now, and we need to desperately get them back into some good bonsai soil to allow them to start growing on. The leaves have started wilting that are in position, and they desperately need to pull up some moisture from those roots. So this one that's already in a pot here, we'll just lift that away and put that to one side because that one's okay at the moment. But these two, we need to get them into some new pots and some new soil. So as we let them dry out, the soil will have dried up, and we can hopefully brush away the excess soil that's on the roots in here. So we can hopefully get in and do that, because it was all a little bit too much inside for the rake to get to. So I'll do that, brush the dry soil away, and then I've got a bowl of rainwater here which we will use to just clean off the base of the trunk here and prepare it for going into some soil. We'll do it as much as we can, we'll get as much off as we can, but I'm quite happy to leave a little bit in there in the roots without taking too much time to get it into some soil. But quite a lot of it is coming away with the toothbrush, coming away nicely, and we will just tidy it up and get it into its nice new bonsai soil. I have a couple of pots that I have semi-prepared for these, and they're both oval pots. One of them is a plastic pot and the other one is a ceramic type pot, and I think I'll show you them shortly. One of them's a larger oval pot and one of them's a smaller oval pot, and I think we'll put the larger based jade into the larger pot and the narrower based jade into the smaller oval pot. But I'll show you them just shortly. We'll just get some more of this soil out of the roots here. There are some signs of new growth coming out of the trunk here, so that's good. So I'm just trying to be careful not to rub any of those points with my hands and my fingers, because obviously that'll look nice as it comes through, some nice new growth. So I'll just take a bit of water here and just brush the parts of the trunk that haven't got any of that growth coming through. We've got about just as much soil off as we can, so we'll just clean this up as nicely as possible. It'll also give a little bit of moisture to these roots as well, because obviously they have been in the dry for quite a while, where we were allowing the cut points to dry out. But they should recover and do quite nicely as soon as we get them into some nice bonsai soil. The bonsai soil will hold the moisture, and then as the jade asks for it, it'll be able to take it, rather than it sitting in damp soil for any length of time. So I'm just being careful just to avoid the areas where we do have some nice growth that's just appearing. I say nice growth, it's just some green that's coming out of the nodes of the jade. But we'll just get as much as we can, as quick as we can, and then we'll be good to go to get it into some soil. So I think that's about as much as we're going to get from where we're at here. I'm just a little bit mindful of getting it into the soil and getting it growing again. Very careful with where to pick this up. So there is still elements of the soil still within there, but our planting height is going to be around about here, so most of that will be within our bonsai soil anyway. So we'll allow a little bit to remain and not worry about it too much. So that's about as much cleaning up as I'm going to do with that part of the tree that we've got left. So I will just sit that to one side while we clean up the smaller trunk. So there's not too much left on here, so a small amount of brushing will do it, but I'm going to have to be careful because the tree has dried out quite significantly. So we'll just get the bottom of the trunk scrubbed up and as much of the bottom of the roots as we can. And that's pretty much all we need to do with that one. There's not a lot of root there, but it'll put plenty more roots down as we go along. So I'll just put that to one side also. And then we'll get tidied up here and bring in the first of our pots and start preparing to pot the jades on. So this is going to be the first pot that we use, and you'll be able to see hopefully there are some pre-made drainage holes, but what there also is, probably see better from this angle, there's some drainage holes on the legs which are quite large. You know, I can almost get my finger into those, and there's, you know, if we start putting the soil into there, it's just going to be falling through those gaps. So what I'm going to do is get some of the lava rock that we've got and place them into these 4 holes, which will just try and stop the smaller particles of the bonsai soil from falling straight through the bottom. So I have some lava rock here. It's quite large, but there are some smaller pieces in there also. So I'm going to use this to make a base layer down the bottom of the pot, because it is quite deep and we are going to have to obviously build up our base layer of soil for planting our jade. So we'll just pour this in and just make sure that some of these smaller ones slot into the base deep. Now I did rinse this, you'll see this, it was quite dusty, and we've got a lot of smaller particles still left in there, so I'll make sure not to get that into the base. But we'll just move that around, and I can see that the some particles have fallen into the feet layers, so that's given us a nice layer of lava rock down the bottom that we can start mounding our base layer of bonsai soil onto. So we now have a bowl of bonsai soil to create our base layer. So I shall just pour that into our pot. And that's going to give our plant in height. We will just get some more. So I have some more, but what we'll do is we'll introduce the tree to the pot and check for the height of where it's going to sit. I've had a little look at our stumps that we've got left from this one, and I've chosen this as the front. There are some, you know, that to me it just looks like the back straight away. You know, that looks like the front. Just the pure setup of it just screams front and back. So we'll just get that sat on the soil, and that seems to sit quite nicely. It's just about perfect for the planting level, so we'll just add soil around the tree until we bring it up to a level. So we'll just continue to add soil. This is quite a large oval pot, so it will take quite a bit. And we'll just get one of our chopsticks and just make sure that we're well into the root system. I'll just move that bit of soil out of the way. I mean, there's not much to work in, and this will just drop in just nicely. The granules of the soil are nice and small. It is a little bit wet, but that'll hold some moisture for the jade to take up, and we will give it a water through also, just to bed it in as well. But hopefully it'll enjoy this soil and it will continue to recover and do well. It's been around for a long time. It'd be a shame to lose it just now. So if we look after it, hopefully we will get many more years out of this tree. So we'll continue to work it in and add soil. Continuing to add soil all around and working it in. We're very close to our planting level now. There's some large bits of the soil mix that I put in because in the soil bin, as it was outside, it pretty much froze. We've had some really low temperatures over the last week or so. Apparently the low temperatures are just about finished now, so hopefully that's going to be the end of that. We don't do cold very well, even though we see a lot of cold in the UK, but we're never happy whichever way the weather is, to be honest. So we'll just work that to our planting level, to the lip of the pot. It will take quite a bit more soil. Fill in a lot of these gaps. That's another one of the lumps of soil there. We'll get that broken up into the soil bin and mixed in a lot better with the perlite and the fluorite. The fluorites proved to be quite good, so I'm really glad that I picked up on that from Tom's channel, and yeah, it's a lot better than some of the stuff that I have been using in the past. So I think we're quite happy with where we're at with this planting. We will just now give it a bit of a water. So I've got a little bit of rainwater left in this bottle, so we'll just water it through, which will help push the soil downwards also. You can see it disappearing down, and because we've got some nice drain holes in the bottom here, it'll all drain through. The soil's free draining, so we don't have to worry about over watering, because it will all just drain out of the bottom. And then that will just allow the jade to take as much or as little water as it wants. We'll just get one of the other bottles. This one's going to have to be refilled obviously, but I think the watering system outside is frozen, so we'll have some fun getting these refilled. So here we are with bottle number 2, and we'll just add a little bit more to drain through. It has been very dry, so it'll be very glad of this. Obviously jades go a long time without water in some of the conditions where they grow, and then they get a monsoon of water, so it'll have felt that that was its dry period, and now this is the monsoon. So that's the large jade sorted. We'll now move on to the taller, skinnier jade and get that planted into the next pot. So here we are with the second jade. This has also been trying to put out some new leaves along its branches, so there's good things to come from this, but again the leaves are all shriveled up and they need that monsoon to bring in the moisture back up the roots, but obviously it's got to repair its roots from the damage that we've done just recently. This is the pot that I've chosen for this second jade, and it's quite a nice pot, oval, brownish colour, nice and dark. I think it'll, you know, offset transition into the trunk, and then the leaves being green, I think it'll look rather nice. This is going to be the front side of the pot, because just round on this side there's a bit of a blemish lump on the rim there, and then there's a bit of a lump blemish there, and it's a bit brighter across there. So we'll hide that round the back of the pot, but the front of the pot is really nice. You know, it's just got the odd discoloration, if you like, the lighter parts of the glazing, and yeah, it looks really nice. It's got 2 nice drainage holes in there, so we need a couple of drainage screens for that, and I do have some of the plastic preformed drainage screens that we use. I'll just put that out there, you can just see those. So we'll put them into the bottom of the pot, and then we'll take our soil and we'll just put a base layer of soil into the pot. Just tamp that down ever so slightly, and again I did have a bit of a look at this tree, and because of the positioning of the branches I've gone for the exposed full trunk at the front. All the branches go away in the back or to the side, so this is going to be our front. The only branches that come towards you are when we get all the way up here. But we'll get it planted, get it growing in the new pot and the new soil, and then once it's re-established itself, we'll come back and do some branch selection and bring it down and make it more compact to best suit what we want from it. But for now, we're going to leave everything that's on there because the condition of it, if some of the branches decide to die off, we don't want to be taking off the ones that would possibly survive right now. So we'll just put the root base into position, and that's just about right. Just push the roots that are in there down. I did contemplate taking this lower branch off, but I am going to leave that for now. And like I said, we'll just keep it to the top side of the lip of the pot, and that should sit. It should be okay for now, and then going forward, we'll make decisions on whether or not to cut it off. When it regenerates and does really nicely, it will definitely be a nice cutting going forward. So I'm just going to push it over to one side of the pot because all the balance and weight is on this side. So if we put it over to the other side of the pot, you're right as you're looking at it, and then it's sort of balancing this way from that side of the pot. And I'm just looking on the screen as I can see it there, and I think I'm going to be happy with that. So we'll just pour some soil into the pot and just push that down and around the roots, making sure that any roots that are high up, we keep them down and in the soil. A bit more around the side, hopefully it'll drop into the back. We'll just work it in. This soil, the colour that the fluorite is giving it, I'm quite pleased with that also. It's blending in nicely with the colour of the pots that we've used. It's blending in nicely with the trunks and just everything. It's a really nice reddish brown colour that just really helps stand everything, helps everything stand out nicely. So if you like that type of thing, this fluorite is the way to go. I'm certainly enjoying what it looks like. So we'll just work it into the roots. We've still got plenty more soil to get in there. And hopefully this will stand up nicely in the soil. I think it's wanting to go backwards at the moment, so we might well need a rock or something to weigh the roots down until they get established in this new soil. But we'll worry about that in a moment. We'll just continue to work this soil into the roots, and then hopefully that will lock it in quite a bit. It does want, there's quite a lot of weight on the back of the tree, so it does want to pull back naturally. So I think we will need to place some weighted rocks on the front side of this just to stop it pulling itself backwards. It's nice and vertical at the moment, and we'd like it to stay that way and not drag itself back into the planting. But if we can get plenty of soil into the roots so it has nowhere to move, then hopefully it won't be able to tip over anyway. But it depends how much soil we can get into the roots that are left, and make sure that it's as well held as it can be. A little bit more soil. We're going to have to get some more. So it is holding itself now, so I'll just get some more soil and we'll continue working in. So we've got a bit more soil here, and we'll just drop it in. move it around the pot. And we will need some more. I'll just get one of the shovels just to help shovel it into place. Talking about the shovels and the brass rakes, etc. that we've got here, I've had a lot of people asking about, you know, where I get them from, where I got mine from, and where can they go to get some. And basically I got mine from eBay, and I did find a few more, so I've bought some. And I think the 100th video is coming up very shortly. I believe it will be the one after this. I think this is video 99. So on the 100th video coming up, what we'll do is we'll run a little bit of a competition, a bit of a giveaway. And I've got a few of the rake sets with the churns, and we'll run a bit of something, and they'll be there in the giveaway. So we just got all that soil in there, and we'll just tamp it down for our level that we want. That's gone in pretty okay. There's a little bit of a mound at the top, but that's got to disappear into the back of the pot. And the level has actually come out quite right. We got a bit lucky there with the amount of soil that was laid into the pot. But what we'll do is we'll give it its monsoon watering, and hopefully that will drive the particles further into the roots and allow it to settle in even more. And then we'll see if we can find some rocks for the front edge of this, because it is still, I can just see it trying to lean away as I let go. So we'll just give it its watering. See the smaller particles disappearing as we put the water through, but we'll give it plenty of water. The soil already is a little bit damp, so that will help feed the jade, but it'll pull out of these particles as much water as it needs going forward. And I'm not again worried about possibly overwatering, because this will just drain straight through. It'll hold some moisture, but it's not going to be soaking wet and risk rotting the roots. If there wasn't any drainage holes, and if it wasn't nice free draining soil, then we would be very careful about the amount of water that we're putting in. But I think we can be quite happy that this is all just going to pass straight through, and the jade will take exactly how much it wants. So I've just got some rocks that I'll just push down onto the soil, and hopefully that will stop the tree trying to leave the pot. So that's the second jade, all nicely potted and planted up. I think we'll call that an end for this part 2 of the jade series here. And what we'll do is we'll come back in what I hope is video 100. We'll do the final jade, and we'll do a little bit of repurposing of pots. I'll show you what I mean by that in the next video. And we've got plenty to do in that video. So we'll put these somewhere nice and safe, somewhere where they can carry on their journey, and we'll see you again in part 3. But for now, I'm Scott Winard. This is Let's Do Bonsai. Have a great rest of the day, make the most of it, and I'll see you again in the next one.